All right, we are back with Dr. John Murphy from AgXplore, and today we are talking white papers again, and we are specifically talking about XR5-KSB. Besides a bunch of letters and one number,
That's right.
John, what is XR5-KSB?
That's a great description. A bunch of letters and a number. I like that. But when we think about XR5-KSB, what I like to think about this as is it's a foliar nutritional that we can place on just about every acre. So let's kind of break down a little bit what's in there. So the easy way to remember it, you guys have awesome John Deere stuff around us right here.
Yep.
It is a 40-20. It's a 4% nitrogen, and then it's a 20% potassium, and so that's our 40-20. Then a 5% sulfur, 0.5% boron. And so it is a really solid, well-placed nutrient as we want to think about it.
Okay, that helps. Let's get into this white paper then. It's more like white papers. I have two sitting here in front of me.
Definitely.
Explain why you guys did this and the meaning behind it.
Definitely. So we do a lot of grower meetings throughout the year, and what we've really made a push into is how can we show education and how can we show, let's call it proof of concept, right? It's one thing for John or Gunny or Ben or someone to stand in front of a group, but let's show people what it looks like in the real world, and then let's give an explanation as to why, because that's one thing I found. People want to know why does it work. And so that when we're looking at this XR5-KSB, the white paper that you have in front of you is a replicated trials that we did across Ohio and Indiana, and is replicated at 4 different locations. And I think that's important because your fields are not going to be the same as everybody else's in the room. So we want to look at how does it function across a wide spectrum, but not only that, how is it working? Why is it working? And what's that positive ROI? Because honestly, at the end of the day, the positive ROI is what's really going to matter. It's great that it works, but if I can't generate a return for you, you aren't coming back to me next year.
Right. So what did you find in the study?
So what we found in this study is one single application of XR5-KSB, our 40-20, if we want to think about it that way.
I like that.
I do too. It's an easy way to remember it for guys like me.
I see the logo coming up on a jug right now.
That's right. But one single application at any time post-pass. So we're thinking soybeans in this one. That 3rd trifoliate up to about that 5th trifoliate gave you almost 3.5 bushel response. And when you take soybeans at current price, that's almost a $30 ROI after you remove the expense of that product. I mean, that got your attention.
That's real money.
And it's replicated. It wasn't a one-off, right? And it was third party. So it's not anything that I even had an influence on.
Yeah. The biggest thing that stands out to me in this is the sulfur side of it.
Yes.
That seems like a hot topic in agriculture. We always called it a micronutrient. I don't know that it's a micronutrient anymore.
Yeah, it's a secondary macro now, right? And so when we think about it, the secondary people think, well, maybe it's not as important. It just simply means it's not needed as much as the NP and K. But when we think about that sulfur, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, we farm in a sulfur deficient environment now. When you go back 50 years, 40 years, we were getting 25 to 30 pounds of sulfur free every single year. The latest maps that I saw come out, we're talking maybe 3 or 4 pounds. And when you think soybeans or corn, I mean, when we're thinking the higher yielding environments, you're talking 30 pounds of sulfur that we're going to need. That's a lot of sulfur when we boil it down. And I'm convinced when we see something like this XR5-KSB perform on soybeans, a lot of it's that sulfur, and it's so visual, right? It helps with chlorophyll, so it gives us that nice green color. When you specifically are thinking soybeans, it helps with protein and oil. That's a quality factor, right? When we think protein and oil, that helps us build test weight. So when we think about those areas, it helps us build that entire structure all the way from the start to the finish.
I want to talk about the ratio. Who came up with the 40-20? I mean, there's got to be a method to the madness here.
There is. So Gunther Krebs had that final say in there. Gunny, he's our in-house geek. He likes to call himself. That won't get me fired, I don't think. But it's the idea that these are highly weathered nutrients, and they're nutrients that we know they need. So let's think about potassium. We know soybeans are potassium hogs, right? Something like 1.3 pounds per bushel. That's incredibly high. So what is this doing? Well, it's supplying just a little bit more, right? We're not saying take it all out of the soil, but we're also saying, hey, we're not getting it all out of the soil. Our base saturations aren't high enough. And so it's a way to get that in. Sulfur, the same way. We're not replacing 30 pounds. I like to tell people, hey, let's take this and let's just reallocate 5%. Let's put it in the growing season when the plant needs it. And so that's what we're really looking at with this product, is getting those nutrients at the time that they need.
All right, the last thing, Where can we pair this? Where can we put this? Where all can we use it?
I love it. And that's the thing I like about KSB. I really see KSB used 3 different ways that give us great returns. The first one is just simply using KSB alone, like this white paper.
Right.
It gave us a 3.5 bushel yield. The second way that I like utilizing across the United States is I call it my base product. So we start with KSB, and then let's say we go west and we need more boron on our canola. Okay. We can spike it with 16 ounces of boron. I go down in peanut country, we need boron. I spike it with that. We go over in Illinois, we need more sulfur. I put more sulfur in there. Okay. So that's my second way. And then the third way that we see probably the best ROI is part of a program. It's not just one thing. It's how did I get my plant up out of the ground? Then I'm feeding it. Now can I pair it with a fungicide? It's about that whole year long. And those are the best ROIs that I see if we place it in one of those 3 ways.
And you're drawing this from a second white paper that I'm not...
Yes. Yep. So we have a brand new one that's going to come out. So one thing I love about AgXplore, we have data coming in all the time. Yep. And I love data. Yep. But we actually have a study that came out utilizing this on corn in Illinois. And we used just the KSB. Then we paired it with Architect, which is an early season PGR. And then we paired it with Onward Max. And it tells the perfect story. You add XR5-KSB, and we bumped it by about 6 bushel. You add Architect, you bump it by 9. You put a second application on it, you bump it by 15 bushel. Wow. And now all of a sudden your ROIs are in the $50 an acre range.
Well, there you have it. Another white paper from AgXplore. They're always learning and always improving.